All right, traders, welcome back to Start Swing Trade. Are you guys ready to talk some swing trades? And of course, take a look at the market movers, see what's moving in the market, and of course, take a look to see if we can find another trade underneath the hood. It seems like it's one of those days where we're getting a little bit of a bounce back. A little part of me thinks that just too many people leaning on one side of the trade here. And now you guys are seeing what? The SPY bounce back today. The Qs bounce back today and holding on right now. You guys can take a look at the Qs up there to 365. And definitely, it was an interesting open. One of the things that I was looking for, I was actually looking to see a little bit of a tech bounce. Reason why is I feel like everyone went bearish way too quickly. They immediately just thought that this was just going to dump through the floor. And now you see it. The psychology does what? It bounces, right? Does it mean that this complete fade off this rally is done? No, by any means. This could just be a little pushback and then it fades away again tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Right now, we are getting that bounce back. The Q's up there to 365.27. Let's take a look at some of the stocks underneath the hood to see what is going up, what is going down today. Netflix from the open coming down today. So there is some stocks that are showing some weakness out there, right? Even the stocks that were pretty strong showing some weakness. Now there is some stocks on the green side, right? Like Tesla, big move right back towards 363. Datadog up there to 94. PanW back up towards almost 250. So that just goes to show me that it seems like it's a little bit of a mixed crowd right now. Let's talk a little bit about the trading action today. All I got to give you guys is just one. I'm going to give you guys at least Adobe right here because this is from our swings what we took profit in today. Taking some profits at 474.83s, and you can see it right now trading at like 475. A little bit in me wants to take the rest of the trade off. I only literally have one share left of Adobe. So we'll see what happens here. I am up a decent amount, like 2.73%, but I'm looking for this to continue going down. At this point, it doesn't really matter. It's just trying to get me a little bit expansion on the gains. We'll see what happens here in Adobe. Of course, we've been holding one for a very long time, which is XOM. XOM pops, it drops. Pops, it drops. I'm looking for it eventually to take down this 102.50 area and really go lower. We'll see if we're able to take that out and go back down towards the 100. That's really what my outlook is here for XOM. That's what it's been here since 108. 108.42 is the entry. We'll be able to look to see what happens on this one. I think really soon we're going to have our answer. Right now, what did we do today? What did I talk about yesterday? Would we slightly peak above 72, then come crashing back down below 69? What are you seeing WTI now? 69.50s. That's what I wanted to see, baby. That's going to keep me staying in this trade and looking for the next leg lower. Take a look at Chevron. Chevron, nice little close here, at least for right now. It's down there towards 152.33s. I've had this since 158.49. So you guys can see that's a pretty good looking move here. Now going lower. Will we break the 151 and 150s and keep going lower here on Chevron? We'll see what happens also in the Warren Buffett favorite. It's down there to 56.65. Will Warren come in and save it again? Or will Oxy fall through that support? We'll find out. All right, let's go to the market. Let's take a look at what stocks you guys are watching in the chat. It's good to see you guys in the chat. I did see you guys talking a little bit about my man Mark Chaikin in the chat. Let's leave my man Chaikin a little bit alone, but let's take a look there. His call on Generac definitely turning around a little bit today. He was looking at this to get a little bit of an up move and continuation, and it really quickly came back. But this is a level that we can go off of maybe, right? Because now we're going back towards prior resistance that could become support around the 124s. We'll see what happens there with Generac. Is this a company that I would be going after? Personally, not my type of stock that I'm looking at right now. But hey, who knows? Generac, can it get the lift? We'll have to keep an eye on it. That's what the power gauge says, and I'll keep a watch on it to see what happens out there. All right, what's going on, Matt? How we doing? Mike, Raz in the chat. Jay, what's going on? All right, are we starting to see the VIX start getting a little bit of a lift? Hedge funds shorting oil stocks. Money Mitch is shorting oil stocks. Hey, We'll see who's right, right? We'll see if we fall on the right side of the tape this time. Smash the like. Let's keep going at it. Chaikin also liked Unity back down at Unity at 26. Yeah. I mean, Chaikin liked Unity before it went to 26. Let's just be honest about that. Now, is Unity a bad stock? No, I don't think Unity is a bad stock in the long run. I think at the end of the day, you got to be looking at names like this to see what happens with like kind of ARKK and the growth names. I talked about it. Would we get a little bit of a bounce back in ARKK? You got it today. We'll see if it gets another hit tomorrow. That's one thing that I'll keep my eye out for. Let's go to technology. Let's take a look underneath the hood. See what's doing well today, what isn't. And of course, we could take a look a little bit at my trading action coming up in just a little bit on my day trading action in the prop. And who knows, maybe take a day trade. I did see Sarepta with some news today. I've been taking some trades. We'll talk a little bit about Trade the Pool coming up, team. Stick around. Might take a little bit of a trade live. We'll find out. We did win yesterday live, a really nice trade on AI. Maybe we get another trade today. I know AI having a investor day today, and I was watching this. I actually traded this earlier and was looking to see what was going to happen, right? Yesterday, we shorted it. Today, I went long AI and was able to make some profits. Now it's getting hit here. But now one thing I did want to mention is around 3:30, they're supposedly going to talk a little bit more about the regenerative AI for specifically C3 AI here. We'll see if it gets a lift, if it was just kind of a drop, and then with the release at 3:30, I think there's going to be some mentions there. I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's 3:11 right now. We'll look to see if this gets going. All right, let's keep going to some other stocks in the SPY, right? What about Apple? What about the bigger names? How are those doing today? You can see how I talked about this yesterday. Apple looked like it was holding the 9 EMA and it wanted to come right back up there towards the highs. And there you go. Holds the 9 EMA, right back up. So same thing happened today, bouncing right back there in Microsoft, holding the long-term trend line and right back towards 338. NVIDIA, that was really getting hit. Nice little move today out the gates. Really kind of upset that I didn't get this one. I was trying to day trade this one right around the 124.50s. It took off there, went going all the way up there towards 133, and then continuing towards 134. Now at 430s as it's starting to drop off the tape. We'll see what happens here towards the end. Can we make a move back towards 435? All right, we'll keep watching the stock like NVIDIA. There is some other names out there, of course, to keep an eye out for. ACN got hit hard, and today being able to bounce back a lot of that losses. Of course, a good day for tech. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on out there. DG, Dollar General, making a little move higher. I'll take a look at that in just a second. Let's keep looking at some technology names, see what else had a really decent day, and see what can continue to run. All right, let's keep taking a look here. Marvell getting a little bit of a lift back towards the upside. I even saw Intel getting a little bit of a lift here towards the close. Now starting to come back there towards 32.77. Will we see tech get a little bit of a lift? I was watching SoxL today for that kind of outlook, and you can see it didn't do bad. It definitely bounced back. Now, the only question is, will they flush it right back down? That's one thing that I'm keeping an eye on for Tesla, trying to make its way back. It caught that 9 EMA, trying to come back here towards 270, 265. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be a big day to determine if the Qs will come right back down or will they just go right back towards 370s or 368. We'll be looking a lot better if that does happen. All right, let's keep going. There's another stock being mentioned in the chat. Jenny's talking about Overstock just getting started with a squeeze in the coming week. To tell you the truth, I've been talking about Overstock for a little bit of a while now. And today it was definitely one of the stocks, my top stocks to watch. And I'll let you guys even see where I got stopped out on this one. I was trying to ride this wave in the prop account, and I'll show you guys it. So you guys can see here, Overstock definitely got a buy there at 22.72. I stopped out at 22.40s, and you guys can see that was really close towards not a bad move there in Overstock. I was looking for that to kind of come down there towards that 22.40s, and it just cut me out right before this little dip in recovery. It cut me out and then recovered right back up through there. So maybe I just came out of it with a little bit too much sizing, didn't want to push it so much, but a really nice move higher there in Overstock. And this stock can squeeze higher. I've talked about this plenty of times, and that's why we have levels drawn already We were looking at this stock even before this. And so now it's starting to get the lift. We'll see what happens. We were watching this since the 16th. When overstock tends to push, I've seen it before, trend and really start pushing. Would I go shorting overstock here? Hell no, by any means. This stock loves to get a little bit of a short squeeze. All right, let's keep going, team. We'll see what else is going on in overstock. Held the gap and went. That was such a good opportunity there. I just didn't execute it well today. And I talked about that on live trading. It just wasn't a good execution off the support. Maybe coming in at too fast. If I would have came in at maybe at 50 shares, 50, 50, 50, that could have got me the ads to go ahead and get this nice little move to 26. What a move there for overstock. Could keep pushing stronger too. This is the type of stock that I would stay the hell away from if I wasn't going to short, because that's an easy way to get wrecked. I was also looking at the root. Everyone was looking to see if this one was going to get the lift after kind of mentions there from Wall Street Journal. It didn't go anywhere today, but something that you can maybe keep an eye on it. I did see some other AI names get a little bit of a lift. We talked about SoundHound AI in, of course, our live trading stream. That got a lift. I know Ryan was able to ride this one higher. It's up there to 419 and holding on as we speak. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action technology names. Also, even the solar names bouncing a little bit today. We'll see what happens here. How did First Solar react? Well, you can see it. It's bouncing right back here, but starting to reject this like 188 line towards the upside. That's where you got to be a little bit careful, because it could recover that 188 going back towards 190, or it could start using this as resistance, reject right back down there towards the 180s. We'll see what happens in solar names. They have been pretty weak as of late, and we'll see if they can get a little bit of a bounce. EMPA to the downside, that doesn't make me feel confident. SEDG also to the downside, doesn't make me feel confident that this First Solar can hang on here. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what other names are mentioned in the chat. Let's keep it going. The puts and velocity have climbed a bit on overstock, but still looks good. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. Let's just say that one. All right, let's take a look at some other names on the market. Of course, we did have some stocks that had some news today. Let's take a look at some of these action. We did have Tesla, of course, dipping because of a downgrade, and Morgan Stanley getting put to the face there as it just got right back up there. Alcoa got downgraded. That keeps going lower. Let's take a look at some other ones here. There was, of course, a DRI, Garden Restaurants. Did this come back a little bit today? Yeah, it started coming back a little bit, but not being able to hold this doesn't make me feel confident about this position. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the markets right now. I'm taking a look to see what type of stocks are on the upside and downside right now. The downside, I see real estate. And of course, we know that KBH Homes reported to last night, and it was looking good. I mean, at least the report, but not the price action. The price action looking horrible here and looking like KB Homes wants to come right back down. Of course, this has already been pushing the ITB higher before this. Will this be a turnaround here on the ITB? I can kind of see it being that kind of blow off top today towards that 82.50s. I don't expect this coming back to that level, but I also am not going to go ahead and go short here on ITB. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is being called out in the chat. What's the ahi doing? What's the tuna? Where's my smoked tuna at? I know he's out there in the chat. Ahi is a software application name. It's bouncing a little bit here towards 135. Nothing that I would be looking at. It just doesn't seem sexy to me. It's one of these names. It just got like a recent pop and then a quick drop. You don't see news on AHI, but you see it popping. Yeah, it did get a little bit of a pop there. It could just be volume getting filled, right? I could take a look at that, but I don't see anything special. Let's see what the volume is. There is this quite substantial volume that just jumped there. So let me see if I can get you guys something here. If there's any news or anything like that. Another thing that could be, it could just be kind of traders just getting in here, right? There's a big sizing that just got filled. Let's take a look here to see if I can find anything on the tape. So I'm looking at the tape to see what got filled there. And I definitely saw some fills at 135. There was 9,000 shares that went through there, then 2,000 shares. So it seems like there was some buying going on here just recently. So that was kind of closer towards those levels. I'd keep an eye out on that, but definitely right around that kind of 135 level, there was a pretty decent amount of size that went through there and quickly got hit. So there you guys see that pullback. If it gets back through that 140 is when I'd be paying attention to it, that it could keep running. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to some different areas. Consumer cyclical getting a little bit of a bounce today. Of course, these are some high beta names, and sometimes they are going to get that push up. Specialty retail getting a little bit of a lift today. Ulta making a move back to the upside. Keeping an eye out on this one. Does this one close the gap? It's almost right back up there, team. It's trying to get up there towards that gap close towards the 480s. We'll look to see what happens there in Ulta. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look. What other ones can we look at in this space? You can see gambling stocks starting to get a little bit of a bounce, not necessarily something that I'm looking at. Leisure. How is the cruise lines today doing? You can see they're pulling back. They're just hanging in there. They're not going anywhere right now. Definitely you got a nice hourly level if it can go back above the 16 level. But for right now, it's just going sideways. How's American Airlines doing? I wanted to check the airlines. That's hanging in there also. Seems like we're just going sideways right now. Royal Caribbean, 97.32. Definitely some topping action, but nothing that's showing me that this is turning around anytime soon. All right, let's keep going. I'll catch you guys in the chat. Dano, I miss Overstock, but caught some Carvana. There you go, man. I'm glad to hear it. Let's keep taking a look at some other action. Pixie waking back up now. I saw Pixie earlier being called out. It is trying to wake up a little bit. Nothing that I'm watching. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to healthcare now. Medical care names leading that space today. And then you got healthcare plans. We've talked about some of the medical care names to see if those can kind of hold there, especially if you're taking a look at like an HCA. This is one that I've been looking at now, continuing the trend higher here. We'll take a look at some other action here. UHS, one that we can maybe keep an eye out for. And THC is one I'm looking at here, team. It's just going sideways. Finally got a little bit of a lift here today. Can it get a push here above the 81s? Something that I'm keeping an eye out for on THC. Of course, healthcare plans coming back a little bit right now. Alliance Health, CVS. These are stocks that we're keeping an eye out for after they got hit with the UNH kind of mention from the CEO. Now it's climbing back. It's almost all the way back there as it's been able to climb back after taking a beating there from that mention. Of course, that was about the elective surgeries. So keep your eyes on Humana in this space to see if it can continue climbing higher. Now, drug manufacturers, Lilly continuing higher. The one that I wanted to catch and did not catch it, Merck off the 110s, now back up there to 113.38, almost to 114. I really like this one. It was in sideways consolidation station here around the 110, now right back up. AbbVie is another one that I want to keep an eye out for. It definitely had made a big pullback. Now can start getting that lift. This is one that I'm actually going to maybe take a little bit of a swing trade on. I like the way that the setup is here. I like how it's bottomed out. I know where my out could be, like closer towards 135. I can take a look at this one. Doesn't look too bad here. It has been trying to push. We'll see what happens the next time it makes the lift. And this wouldn't be too bad if I could catch this down towards like 136.50 tomorrow and see this run towards 138. I do like this one. I just didn't catch it at the right time. Pfizer coming back a little bit there. We'll see what happens on these stocks, but definitely drug manufacturers getting some lift today. Hammer Saw says, I tested positive for THC and pretty much everything else. Just messing with you, man. And that's how it is, man. What's THC? A pot stock? It's actually a hospital stock. That's the funniest part. THC is actually a hospital stock, TentNet Healthcare Corp. A lot of people think it's related to cannabis, and maybe they should change their ticker because THC, not necessarily the best ticker name for you if you're a healthcare stock, but hey, I didn't choose it. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on there. Laugh out loud. Tender love and care. Yeah, a little green side on the side of that, but hey, who knows? All right, we'll see what else is going on there. Medical instruments and supplies getting a little bit of a lift. Medical distribution stocks pushing higher. This is like McKesson. This looks like it's really kind of pushing towards the upside. MCK, ABC, CHH, all nice looking stocks that are pushing higher right now. Maybe you can catch this HSIC, Henry Sheen here. Doesn't look too bad. It is looked like it's loading up for a nice little move higher back through the 80s. This is one that I'd keep an eye out for. I like how it undercut and rally, started to get really some momentum. Now can it get through the 80s, back up through that 81? Doesn't look too bad on this name. I haven't traded this ever before, HSIC, but I'll keep it on my radar. All right, let's keep going. It's THC, not TLC. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. Raz, let's take a look at a firm mentioned in the chat. That's turning all around. Will this bounce off of maybe the 200? Doesn't look too bad to bounce. But one thing is, you're catching a falling knife. When you see like stocks like go red like this, like 1, 2, 3, 4 days, realize that I can go after a name like that, but I really need to stick it tight, because if it cracks and keeps cracking, it's pretty much a falling knife. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action in the market. How did Carvana finish? Not too bad. Found the bounce there. Our firm definitely didn't. Communication services, just slightly green there. Basic materials starting to pull back. Nothing looking strong there today. You see some steel getting a little bit of a bounce. Nothing that really stands out to me. We'll see if steel can actually get going. Industrials turning around a little bit today. So Caterpillar pulling back. Deere pulling back a little bit. We'll see what happens to these names. Boeing definitely got the bad news today. We were looking for some pullback into this area. It did crack down below it. Now starting to try to reclaim it. This one doesn't look too bad. I want to keep my eye out on Boeing to see if it starts to come back. But it is holding on right now by just a thread. We'll find out tomorrow, I feel. All right, let's see what other ones are being called out in the chat. Nice pop in Pixie finally. We'll see what happens on that one. Let's keep going to some other names. It's about 326, guys. We can start taking a look to see if we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off here towards the end, at least for the last 30 minutes. I could see it coming back to VWAP and just kind of just doing what? Just giving you more of that chop action here towards the end. How's AI? Did AI ever turn there around the 330 time? It's about 326. We'll look to see if it gets a little bit of a lift here towards the end. What's doing well? Let's go to Google. Google's doing well as this bounced back to the upside and up there towards 123.20s. Can this continue just climbing right back towards 125? Yeah, why not? CRM having a decent bounce back here. And so this is still like a little bit of a battle as it's trying to come back after yesterday kind of wiping out from the 216. Now just trying to work its way back and get back up there towards that 216. Apple being called out in the chat. Just look for new highs. We'll look to see if we can get it back through that level. ZS is one that I had yesterday. Was looking to see if this one could continue. It hasn't really bounced. I already sold this one. So we'll look to see if it can continue coming down. But one thing that worried me was that up move in Pan W. Definitely could get that one right back up. We'll see if CrowdStrike can get that lift through 146. All right, time to keep going here. Let's go to a different sector. Of course, we talked about some basic materials. We've talked about some industrials. Definitely watch out for like plays like GE. Finally, will those turn around? They've been holding the consolidation station for a very long time. This one's in channel and just keeps bouncing. Doesn't want to break the channel right now is General Electric. All right, let's get out of the industrial talk. Let's go to the energy talk. We've talked about oil already. Can these continue to come down and break? Looks like it right now. It doesn't look like WTI is strong today by any means. You can see here Valero kind of holding in, but not really getting a takedown. Marathon Petroleum just kind of hanging out above the VWAP here. Same thing that I could look at like kind of an XOM. Will this kind of come crashing down here towards the end? That could be a good outlook here to kind of check out. Will this go through the 103s and just cut lower? All right, keeping an eye out on there. That AHI, I did see a lot of volume coming into that name, but I'm going to leave that one alone. It did do a little spike there to 139, but pulling back here doesn't look like it's going to get going anytime soon. AMD 110, actually below 110. I was actually trading AMD to the upside today and it looked good, but man, really quickly just drops off that. So it does have a gap to fill that I'd be keeping an eye out for. That gap is closer towards 108.23s. If it goes and fills that gap, then I can maybe start looking for another bounce level. We'll see if it gets to that 108 level and starts to make a bounce. All right, you can see here from these kind of stocks that are leading, it just seems to me like this was one of those days where it shakes right back to the upside, even though you were thinking that probably we get some continued downside action. That's not what happened. And you got to be careful on names like this because we can easily rip back to the upside. All right, AMD, come to mama, says Derma. I can't blame you. Let's keep going. What other ones are being mentioned? Easy, just watching the level 2. We'll see what else is going on there. And yeah, Overstock, that was definitely a really nice one there. Can't say it was a bad one at all. I'm glad I brought it up this morning, and I'm glad I leaned more on Dennis's side. I was like, man, this thing could squeeze. I don't get in front of Overstock by any means. And there you guys see it. Up there to 25.35, got up there to 26 at some point today. All right, we'll see what else is going on there. Let's keep battling. Let's see if this can keep climbing higher. I'm seeing Tesla climb higher. Amazon is one that we haven't talked about today that definitely had a decent day. That shows me that Shop probably had a nice little bounce back level. And there you guys see it. Can Amazon and Shop continue higher? Amazon now there towards 129. I remember when we were trading this below 100. Look at that nice little run it's been on since that. Just kicking myself because I definitely wanted Amazon underneath 100 for the investment account. Just never grabbed it. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. Jenny, you missed the show this morning. Well, guess what? You still did your research. You still knew about Overstock. So proud to you. All right, let's take a look at what other ones here. OGN respected your chart. There you go. And look at that. It goes right there towards kind of that 21. And what does it do? It just wicks there, right? And so as long as it can hold here, it doesn't look too bad. There is a neckline there, but it seems like we can't get through and hold. It got above that, pulled back there. I'd like to see it close back towards 21.10s, 21.15s. We'll see if it gets there. All right, let's take a look at some other action here. I'm seeing financial services take a beating today, and it seems like this came off of comments from Jerome Powell. JPM going lower there to 139.17. The KRE looks like it wants to go lower here. I could maybe even kind of scout this to the short side. It looks like it wants to just break down here. It looks ugly here. Looks like it wants to go right back down there to the 40s. You're seeing stocks like Goldman Sachs go lower here. This doesn't look good by any means. FAZ was one way that I was thinking about trying to trade this, but it went nowhere today. I was like, why is this not going anywhere? Even though we're getting these huge breakdowns in the banks. Look at Bank of America, right back down there to 28. Are we going back to some banking concerns? This looks like it to me. And something that not many are probably pointing to right now that could be in the news tomorrow. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure there's going to be people calling this out tomorrow. So keep your eyes out on it. WAL coming right back down here. Of course, that's a regional bank that did drive higher. This looks like it wants to go lower there. And even PACW. Can PACW get saved? Remember, we talked about this. Would it get saved? Well, it was starting to make its way back now easily right back down to 723. And this was all kind of capital requirements being mentioned for the banks. Doesn't look good. Banks worry money running to tech next week. No, if there's real bank worries, I think money is going to be running out of tech. But that's just what I think, if there's real bank concerns, right? We're not going to know it until it already happens. That's the hard part. By that time, I think the tech charts would already gotten wrecked. So I'm going to keep my eye on this trade because if it does keep going lower and we do get some banking concerns, easily this could turn around. All right, let's keep going. Big run in Snap today. That's interesting to see. I go back to 1050s. Don't know when Snap has earnings, but not too bad of a move there from 1025 to 1050 today on Snap. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action. Financial services, I'll leave that alone. I mean, right now, I'm just keeping an eye on it to see if it goes lower, to see if it changes the tune of the market. Real estate, of course, that's going down. That hasn't done really well. Just taking a peek here at like a stock like Rocket. Man, will Rocket ever get off the bottom? This stock goes nowhere, man. All right, let's take a look at some other action there. What about AMT, like American Tower Corp? This looks like it's coming right back down also. Doesn't look good there. So at least certain housing stocks look better than others. That one doesn't look good. Toll Brothers has gone on a big run. We'll look to see if this pulls back. What a move there lately on Toll Brothers. All right, DKNG, RSI now back up there towards RSI. I have it on the daily towards 56.40. So this looks like it's just keeping holding here and giving it an ability, if it wants to come back to the upside, to just keep pushing. So it looks like this trend line held here. It does not want to fill the gap for right now. Let's see if it goes right back up there through the 26. All right, we'll see what happens there on DraftKings, of course, gambling stock. All right, let's take a look at some other action there. I thought we were going down in PM and I made 30 points on ES today. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is a lot of the times, team. There could be always a flip, right? Pixie got a little pop, but didn't really go anywhere here. $2 pops, comes right back down. All right, let's take a look at some other action there. We've gone through all the sectors in the industries pretty much. We can start taking a look at maybe taking a little bit of a live trade action here. But now time to catch, right? What is making a move here? Look at Chevron. Looks like it wants to go through that 152. Going to continue holding this swing. Such a nice position now, guys, and just want to just keep pushing more in the oil trade because I could see this really just fall off the tape. Drip, drip, drip. That's another way to look at it. If you're trying to play that short oil trade, will this kind of break through here? I kind of really like it to just keep going through that 15. We'll find out. All right, what other ones are being mentioned in the chat here? No early MOCs just yet. Pixie Dust, Raz, Pixie Dust. Is the market stuck or is it just my brain? It feels like it's stuck too, right? It's not going anywhere right now, and I'm with you, Raz. It just feels like we got a lot of a slowdown here at the end. And what is that? To me, that's the uncertainty. Tech traders thinking, do I stay long these positions over the night? A lot of tech traders also noticing that overnight we keep getting smacked to the downside. Are we just going to get smacked again? That's where it gets a little bit concerning on how to play it here. And that's why I think there's some profit taking going on here, because the truth is we don't know how much higher we're going to go. And the Qs are starting to struggle up here, but still not just falling down. All right. Raz says, I thought I was just very stupid. No, that's not it, man. That's just how it goes sometimes. There's sometimes where the market's moving very fast, sometimes where it's a slow market. Right now, it's a slow market. Smoke Tuna's back, baby. Looking at Intel turning where? Turning right back to the upside? Could make sense, right? Off of this kind of prior resistance becoming support. I'm looking for a crackdown below 32s. If I can get a crackdown below 32s on Intel, I don't mind taking a shot right back to the upside, especially if we can come back towards 31, which is the 50 moving average. Would love to get it there. No Powell tomorrow, so we go green. Well, I wouldn't guarantee that, but hey, we'll keep an eye on it. That's for sure. AMAT got a little bit of a lift today, as in the semiconductor equipment stock that got a little bit of a push. Don't look at this stock too often, but not a bad move there. Uber showing up here, having a decent move and grinding higher. I think Uber's just been grinding higher, even though Lyft not going anywhere, man. When will Lyft ever get off the ground? It seems like that's a forgotten brand. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other action. Did see some defensive names go up today. Didn't talk a little bit about those, so let's get to those actions. Kroger catching a little bit of a bounce after recent pullbacks. Casey's right back off the big support and catching a little bit of a bounce. We'll look to see if it goes to 226. Sprouts Farm bouncing off the 33 mark. We're going to take a look there at department stores too. Let's take a look at the discount stores. Walmart going higher here and starting to hold the 155. This doesn't look too bad as it wants to keep pushing. Costco up to 523, holding well here. Looks like it wants to keep pushing. We'll look to see if it gets that next run. BJ down at the bottom, finally trying to catch a little bit of a bounce. Who knows? I joined BJ's. I actually transferred over from Sam's. So who knows? Maybe BJ's gets a bounce. I'll tell you right now, they don't look too bad here to maybe take a shot off this bottoming action from maybe like 61. So you know what? The way that the stocks are looking and the way that kind of BJ's is already taking its hit, I think this could bounce back, especially on a day 2 or day 3 kind of move here. So I'm willing to take a shot off the 61 here. Just got to start at it in a smaller sense and see if it can get going here. So let's do it. I'm going to take a little bit of BJ's here. Just took a little bit there. Got a little bit of a fill there at 61.91. We'll see what happens there in BJ. All right, so took a little bit of that BJ. We'll find out. Lyft is crap. Yeah, Lyft is crap, man. Lucid going lower. That's not a stock I want. Did Ford go lower? Ford with a little bounce back as Tesla bounced back. As Tesla goes, that's the way I think Ford will go. Right now, it's holding on. If Tesla goes, this could turn around too. All right, let's take a look at what else is going on. Financials need to rally. Yeah, if not, I think that would really kind of get hit on the downside, especially if we keep seeing this kind of just disaster day in JPM. Look at that turnaround. Not looking good right now in the banks. And that's going to, in the long run, really affect certain stocks and really affect the SPY overall. I can't believe we're almost in the green today, even though the financials are getting wrecked right now. All right, we'll see what else is going on to see what happens in that financial bet, but it's definitely not looking the best there. We'll look to see if we get a little bit of a bounce here. Let's go to AI. Did we get a little bit of a bounce there at the 3:30 time? And no, you did get a little bit of a spike there. It was very short-lived here. It's hanging out at the 37.50s. We'll look to see if it comes back on the day. I know their investor presentation should be wrapping up soon, as I know that this was the last kind of half hour for it. Didn't get the lift that it thought it would, but who knows if it gets the lift right now towards the end. We'll find out. All right, I'll keep an eye out on AI to see if it pushes through that 37.50s. We'll see what happens on the Qs. Will the Qs hold up here as the Qs are making another drive to 365.67? What's driving this higher, though? It seems like Apple is probably driving it higher. Microsoft driving it higher, Google driving it higher, Tesla driving it higher, NVIDIA. Will NVIDIA catch a little bit of a lift here? Start pushing here towards the close. That's what I'm going to look at. Meta pushing right back up there. Can't stop, won't stop Meta, I'll tell you that much. And I ain't going to be in the front of it. This looks like it wants to keep going right back up. We'll find out. All right, I would pay pay-per-view to see Musk versus Zuck and include one more in there. Why not Money Mitch? I'll include them. I'll include myself there. Let's do it. Celebrity death match. Musk versus Zuck. You guys remember that? The celebrity death match? Let me know if you guys used to watch that on MTV. Just a shout out to it. All right, let's keep going. Let's take a look at some other stocks there. TSM bouncing back today. Of course, it got hit with the China news yesterday. Will this one bounce back? Not really a stock that I look at often, but definitely getting a little bit of a bounce. Qualcomm, after the recent run, coming right back here towards these levels. Will we get a lift here around the 116? Hammer saying, I love that show, man. Yeah, that used to be the really good one, man. I'm not going to lie. I used to watch that late at night. Dano, DraftKings, or somebody should do a live stream of the cage match. Place your bets. Yeah. Even if it was just celebrity deathmatch, man. Bring celebrity deathmatch back, MTV. You know no one watches you anymore, MTV. Bring it back for me. Let me see the battles. I see you guys mentioning a really good one in the chat. Eminem and Hanson. Oh, it was good times on the celebrity deathmatch. Good times. And Zuckerberg or Meta, who would win, man? Who's the real robot? That's what I'm thinking here. Who's from Mars? You know who's from Mars. My man Elon. And then, of course, The robot that is Zuckerberg. Who knows what would happen? I know he has a little jiu-jitsu game, but who knows? Elon, he's a big guy too, right? It's going to be hard to take down. All right, we'll see what happens on that if we ever get anywhere near a celebrity death match there. Baba, what about Baba? Do you guys think that this can make a little bit of a run to the upside? That's the hard part. If tech made all this run and China never took part in the rally, will it take part in the rally? That's where I'm fighting myself. We'll see what happens on names like XPEV. I was looking for this to pull back towards like kind of $10. Now it's back to these levels. I think if we have another bullish day tomorrow, especially on like kind of the Qs, I'm going to be looking to try to get long on XPEV, especially China names overall. If we can get that next rally up, especially these auto names, I'm keeping an eye on. NIO, right back to that 9 EMA. This is exactly what I was looking for. They had good news just 2 days ago. Let's see if it gets the lift going into tomorrow. That's something I'll be watching for. All right, geopolitical risk is too scary. Yeah, it is too scary. But on the EVs with extra tax incentives that were released, I think that could push them higher. Sold my Baba today, got bored with it, with India and the US today. Don't want to be in China. I understand that, Raz. Can't blame you for it. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the China names to see if that catches a bounce. Rivian, that had good news with Tesla, just gets smacked, man, right back down. So just be careful there on Rivian. Did not want to get through the 16. It wicked there and looks like it wants to go lower. If Rivian gets down there towards, let's say, under 10, I'm looking to maybe take a little bit of a shot there on Rivian long term. But it needs to get way back down there. We're talking $10. Let's say 8, 7. I'll take it. All right, we'll see what else is going on in the market today. Etsy taking a smack there. This is one that looks like it's coming right back down. So I'm going to be looking to see if I can kind of short into Etsy in the next couple of days, especially if we get a little bit of a bounce. This actually looks like it wants to keep going lower. We'll see what happens on this name. Nice little topping action around the 96.51. Now starting to break. Will it just come right back down to 90s, 80s? And you can see it. It's hanging on by a thread right now. I feel like it wants to go through 91. So I'm going to be watching this one, see if it can bounce a little bit until tomorrow, and then really crush the 91. All right, what other ones are being called out in the chat? VCIG. Let's take a look there. I got you, man. Crow talking about this one. VCI Global Limited holding sideways here. Ooh, this looks interesting for me. You know me, I always like stocks that hold sideways, especially consolidation on the 1 hour chart. Because what happens here? People forget about it. And it just goes sideways, 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 sideways. And then eventually can just make that next move up. This is actually one that definitely, why not put this on my radar? Why not look for a move there towards the 750s for it to get the spike there? This is one that I'll keep watch, especially tomorrow. VCIG. Nice little call out there. Appreciate it, Crow. BX called out in the chat. Blackstone, will this get a little bit of a lift? Not necessarily what I want if financial services are coming down. So that's where I would be a little bit careful on a stock like this. But it did get a little bit of a lift today. You could also keep a look at like BlackRock. Asset management companies are what you're talking about here. Will they get the lift? Something to watch for. All right, let's keep taking a look at what else is being called out. BX called out in the chat. What else are being called out in the chat there? I saw APPN. AppLovin. No, this is Appalachian Corp. I thought we were going to go to AppLovin there for a second. Let's take a look at this. This is a software infrastructure name. Don't know too much about this software, so I'm not going to act like I definitely know about it. But big weekly came back all the way to the trend, trying to get moving. I think this is one that's just kind of in consolidation station, just going up, down, up, down, up, down. Where would I see that kind of break? That's a 60. If it can get back above 60s and actually hold up there, then maybe this is turning around. CRM, we've talked about that, how it keeps holding the pullback right now. It looks good. At least you have a level to go off of. Will it come back here through this level of the 216? Hold that support that you got right now, about 3 bottoms around the 208.60, 208 levels. So today 208, yesterday 208.07, and the day prior to that 208.61. So keep your eyes on it. Let's see if the 208.60 level or 208.50 level kind of hold on and we start to push higher here in Salesforce. It looks like it wants to go. Let's find out tomorrow if it gets there towards like 217, 218 close. It'll be looking really good. All right, guys, it's about 3:49. Let's see if you guys get a couple more stocks in here. If not, we'll wrap it up a little bit early here. I see a couple of them coming in here. JBL, we've talked about this one in the past here. It's an electronic component stock. Let's go to the daily. You can definitely see that this one's pulling back. Will it be able to hold the pullback to the 9 EMA around the 102? Or is this kind of the topping action? Could be a little bit of both, right? It could pull back, get a little bit of a lift, but maybe not even get back towards that 106 and then eventually go right back down. So I feel like this is one that trend. You're seeing a lot of volume filled in the last couple of days. So this could also mean what? Profit taking in my eyes. And I could see that this is starting to crack. And so maybe tomorrow, a little bit of a pop towards 104 gets rejected. That's what I would be looking for. And if that gets rejected, it could be right back down. This could be a little bit of some profit taking here. Logi got hit bad from the subs using a Logitech controller for this for some reason. I don't think that's why Logi took the beating. Maybe it did. Maybe that's why I took the hit. I saw that there was some other news there in Logitech that got hit. I think it was doing an offering. Let me just catch this in the note. It was a couple of days ago. Yeah, it was a $1 billion buyback that got a little bit of a lift. I did see that it was getting hits by its $30 game controller that was used to steer the missing sub. But really, I mean, let's just be honest. Is that the reason why Logitech is taking the beating? I don't think that's the reason why it's taking the beating. It's taking the beating because it's a consumer good, and we're looking at consumer goods not really selling as good, recession concerns, and this hasn't really gone anywhere. Let's take a look at here. Here is a way that taking a look at this space, right? Logitech and here, very similar stocks. They sell very similar products, and here looks like it wants to keep going up. So this doesn't look like it's turning around by any means. Maybe this catches a little bit of the bounce and goes right back to the upside. I'll keep my eye on here, see if it goes back through 1150s, but I don't know. I think Logitech is just a no touch right now. That chart is all over the place, right? It just keeps getting like moves up, gaps down, moves up, gaps up, gaps up, gaps down. Too much movement in that and too much turning around. All right, I'm going to leave that one alone. That's Logi. We'll look to see if it keeps pushing. Leon saying PayPal bull flags. Let's take a look there. Bull flags on PayPal. Let's go to the hourly chart to see if it's really a bull flag. Of course, bull flags are going to need what? They're going to need a trend line going in the same direction. And so you guys can see here, this kind of looks a little bit more like there was some support here, kind of like a declining triangle. Now starting to get that nice little lift here. We'll look to see if it continues pushing. What's the first stop? First stop right here. This resistance is right around the 68.48s. Next stop from there could be a nice little push higher towards the 68.89 and 69 area. PayPal not looking too bad. It's hanging in there. All right, guys, that's probably going to do it for me today. Definitely smash it up out there, team. It's about 3:52. There's not much going on in the market, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I wanted to take maybe a trade, but what are we seeing? We're just seeing a slow grind higher. There is certain trades I can maybe take a shot on. I did take BJ for the swing. That's already going into the green here. We'll look to see if this can close really well, but not looking too bad already from 61.91s now to 62s. Can it hold that and really start to drive? I'll take a look at that. All right, guys, you guys have a great day. I see you guys in the chat, and I'll definitely see you guys bright and early. Of course, don't miss me on pre-market prep as we wrap up the week and look to get into, of course, some outlook for next week. And Last day of the week, right? Will we see this come right back down? A little part of me expected to see this bounce up today. Why? Because the psychology of things started to go really quickly to bearish. They got one bearish day, and then all of a sudden traders go, yeah, the bears come out. They're like, I've been waiting for NVIDIA to crack. I'm going after it. Well, that's easily how you get your face ripped off on today. And you guys see that on NVIDIA just going straight up out the open. But does it mean that NVIDIA's not cracked? No, it could still crack, right? So just be careful out there on a stock like NVIDIA that can really kind of rip out the gates and then eventually fade off. I think that this is what we would be looking for. And in the Qs, one thing that gave me a little bit more of an outlook was that we were just like leaking all morning. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a morning that we're going up all morning and then get smacked. Those are the days where we get hit the hardest. That was like a day right here on Wednesday. We'll see what happens now as the Qs are climbing back. And of course, I'll look to see if we get some climbing overnight action and then a takedown towards the open. We'll see what happens on tomorrow. Smash it up out there, team. Still got, of course, XOM short, Chevron short, Adobe short, and BJ to the upside. I'll see you guys bright and early, pre-market prep. Don't miss it. And of course, we'll see if I can get into some more, of course, trade the pull action. We had some good action today. Finishing the day, not looking too bad. This is my Moo account. My Moo account going up also. A little bit of a nice little win there. But trade the pool, of course, not looking too bad there. 81 day there. Starting to push a little bit higher, about 269. I'm going to look to keep just grinding on the prop account. We'll find out what happens. Smash the like button. You guys can find this all right here on Start Swing Trade. Don't miss it. Benzinga is the place that you want to be if you want to grow as a trader. So hit the like button. I'll see you next time, team. Smash the like.